There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim.
The Genesis 6 narrative states that the Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterwards. If that's true, can we find evidence that corroborates this? I'm L.A. Marzulli. Join me as we go on the trail of the Nephilim.
Our lead story today, I have to cover it because now we're on the 7th rung of the disclosure ladder. And I'll tell you what all the rungs are, in my opinion. There's little subsets to those rungs too. And for the most part, we're on the 7th rung. And that, in my opinion, I never thought I'd see what I'm seeing on Tucker Carlson, on Fox News, the discussion of cattle mutilations. We'll get into that and so much more after a word from our sponsor, folks. Please go there. Check out their site. It's great stuff. You know what? I'm taking collagen supplements. So there you have it. See you on the other side. Hey, folks, listen to this. Studies show our mental health changes based on how many or how few wrinkles we have. Anti-aging companies prey on that. But many of their products don't work because they fail to target the root concerns that contribute to wrinkles. The true way to attack wrinkle concern is by going underneath the surface of the skin in ways that promote youthfulness. This is why I highly recommend taking Multi-Collagen. This amazing product helps restore your skin's youthfulness by getting to the root of the problem that causes wrinkles. It works because it's a health supplement, not an anti-aging serum. Your skin will look better than it has in years if you start taking Multi-Collagen. If you've been looking for a great way to improve your skin's health and youthfulness, you'll love the wonderful effects of taking collagen. Get up to 51% off for the next 24 hours only by going to healthwithla.com. That's www.healthwithla.com, or by visiting the link down below. Folks, this stuff really works. We just thank these guys for BioTrust for sponsoring us. And when you buy their products, you help keep us doing what we do here. So check it out, folks. Once again, www.healthwithla.com. Okay, it's the Gathering of the Tribe, May 19th to the 22nd. Can't wait. I'll be speaking twice there. Look at some of the lineup. Look at the lineup. Stearman, Gonzalez, Price, Kenning, Ice, Salas, Marzulli, and Crone. And that's just for starters. It's going to be an incredible time. When I said this before, but when the herd moves, when they come out of the main room and the herd begins to, it's unbelievable. 800 people. There might be more signed up. You'll want to be there. Anyway, folks, call 888-722-0008. Number's right on the screen, 888-722-0008, or call, or just go online and fill out the form. If you call, tell them L.A. Marzulli sent you. They'll get a kick out of that. Also, UFO Disclosure Symposium, May 27th to the 29th, Vernal, Utah. I am the only Christian speaker who will be presenting all my evidence. Cattle mutilations, there's another take. There's two paradigms. Are these extraterrestrials or are they interdimensional entities? With a game of deception. And in my opinion, it is the latter. So we'll get into that today, talking about cattle mutilations. Tucker Carlson hosts two butchers who believe aliens landing in UFOs are mutilating cattle. Okay. Thank you for the reality check. The prevailing theory seems to be that it's some sort of extraterrestrial activity. So they're the butchers, and the reason why he has them on is because these guys have examined the carcasses, and they know that whoever is doing this is doing it with absolute surgical precision. So here's basically the deal, okay? If you're a rancher and you come out one morning and you see your cow, it's lying on its side, the tongue has been excised, tissue around the eye, the anus is cored out, sex organs are gone, in some cases, all the blood is drained from the animals. No predator tracks around it, no tracks at all. The herd has moved away. The scavengers like coyotes and birds won't get near it. So you do a necropsy, veterinarian scratches his head, you call law enforcement, they come out, and they know, because they've been dealing with this since the 80s when it first started, especially in the Four Corners region in the Southwest. They know all about it. So for the most part, yeah, okay, we'll send somebody out. Well, yeah, it must be a predator. It's not a predator. So anything but what reality is. They remove the organs with surgical precision. And that's what's so fascinating about having butchers who know how to butcher cattle, know what it takes to do that. And they come on Tucker Carlson. If you haven't seen the clip, I admonish you to see it. So this brings us into the seventh rung of the disclosure ladder. Frankly, I never thought that we'd see what we're seeing now, but we are. But we are seeing it. And that's alarming. The church needs to wake up because they're rolling it out. The first rung is Commander David Fravor, retired Navy pilot who spotted the tic-tac-shaped UFO. It was basically a disc, in my opinion. And Tucker Carlson quotes David Fravor, something not from this earth. Deal with that. Check that out. This isn't George Norrie Coast to Coast, and I've been on that show for over 22 years. And I love George. He's a great guy. He's appeared in our watches. But that's always, Coast to Coast has always been sort of fringe. This ain't fringe. This is mainstream. This is Fox News. And there's a reason why they bring everything out on Fox, in my opinion, because most of its viewership is conservative Christian. So they want to see what those rascally, those pesky conservative Christians are going to be thinking, if there's any reaction. And for the most part, it's flatline. That's the first rung. Commander David Fravor, 2017, Tucker Carlson. Second rung, Luis Elizondo appears on Tucker Carlson, but also Glenn Beck and CNN and everything else, stating that the U.S. government has in their possession metal from crashed UFOs. The third rung on the ladder is when they test the metal. And it's actually Chris Mellon. I don't have that clip right here, but Pentagon does have mystery metals that came from UFOs. So basically, Nick Pope, who I've interviewed, Nick will be in our third UFO film, which will be released sometime this year. I'm working on it, by the way. Episode 2 is done. Should be up before the end of the month, like I promised. We're just shooting it off to Doug Diamond, who will take a look at it also. Other people who are just giving another set of eyes to the film. And if there's anything I can do to make it a little bit better, that's what we're trying to do here. But they basically tested the metal. And what they realized is that the metal had isotopes not from this earth. Okay, so the first rung, once again, Commander David Fravor. Second rung, Luis Elizondo on Tucker Carlson and other media, Glenn Beck, CNN, the whole, he did the whole gamut of shows, and basically stating that, guess what? We've got metal that not found here, okay, from crashed UFOs. Third rung, Chris Mellon back on Tucker Carlson stating that they found isotopes not on this earth, not found on this earth in the metal. So the fourth one, Tucker bomb. Pentagon set to release classified UFO findings, off-world vehicles not made on this earth. When I saw that, literally, I fell out of my chair. It was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Folks, they're not kidding. And there you go. So off-world vehicles not made on this earth. This ties in with Bob Lazar's study, Bob Lazar's testimony. I could elaborate on that, but the bottom line, that's the fourth vehicle, or that's the fourth rung on the ladder. And then we have the fifth rung, which is when the Pentagon releases the goofy UFO report, 9 pages. Okay, so cow flatulence, as I've said this and stated this numerous times, has almost 1,000 pages on the effect of cow flatulence on the environment. Thank you. But UFOs, we get 9 pages. Out of the 143 sightings that were listed, only one of them they could disprove. The rest of them, look, folks, let's be honest, they know exactly what this is and who's piloting the craft. They're in cahoots. This is a managed agenda. They are rolling it out. They are rolling it out. So that's the fifth rung. The sixth rung, of course, and this just happened. This is another shot, though. But the sixth rung is, and here's another shot, no longer in the shadows, off-world vehicles not made on this earth. So I'm just showing you these clips, these still shots, because it's everywhere. It's gone into all media, every place. So the fifth rung happened last week. or 2 weeks ago now, where the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, was released publicly. And in that document, in fact, I just did an interview last week with Mondo Gonzalez about this on Prophecy Watchers, and I'm sure it's going to be aired shortly. It's unbelievable. But the sixth wrong, and I thought we would pause here for a minute, but we're not. The sixth wrong was when the Pentagon, the FOIA of Information, Freedom of Information Act, stated that women who are abducted by UFOs become pregnant. Some women. That's my wheelhouse. That gets into as in the days of Noah. So it will be when the Son of Man returns. What differentiates those days? Hybrids being born. Hybrids. So let's walk through the cattle mutilations. This is a shot. It's an artist's conception of what it looks like. The cow is beamed aboard. And how do I know this? Because the men and women are beamed aboard in the same way. They're levitated off their bed. They're floated through the window or up through the ceiling or through the wall. They find themselves, they go through the air. You know, their pajamas are, remember, they're frozen. They can move their eyes around. They are in absolute terror. They find themselves on a metallic table where these bizarre sexual experiments that have been going on literally for decades take place. Ovum is taken from the women. Sperm is taken from the men. Sometimes they are forced to have coitus, to have sex with some sort of a hybrid entity. We've covered all this in our Watchers series. We're covering it now in our daily UFO updates. And we will be really getting into it in our 5-film series. It might be 6, who knows. But 2 is about to be released, but I digress. Bull found dead in Wheeler, Colorado, latest and mysterious pattern. You can see the flesh around the jaw has been excised with absolute surgical precision. No trace of blood. No footprints around this. I remember watching, this is decades ago in the 90s, when Linda Moulton Howe, who actually I think she won an award for Strange Harvest, where she went in and started to investigate this, award-winning journalist. My hat is off to her. And I remember watching, I bought the DVD at a UFO conference and started to watch it and was immediately taken aback. I watched maybe 15 minutes of it and went, whoa! Nothing in my grid system prepared me for what I was looking at. And some of you out there who are watching this show, nothing in your grid system prepares you for what we're talking about today. Something is going on. Just talk to the ranchers in that area. So here we see the jaws completely removed with surgical precision. You'll also notice here that in this particular animal, flesh has been removed. In many cases, it's the sex organs which are removed. The animal is drained of blood. The udders appear to have been removed with precision, straight, even cuts, as if made by a sharp object. You can see that right there. Once again, go back to the cow, mutilated cow, okay? The reproductive systems had been cut out cleanly as well, and without disturbing other organs. There was no indication of predator activity, and perhaps strangest of all, scavenging animals appear to have hardly touched these 6 cow carcasses found in a 7-day span this year on ranchland in rural Crook County. Shannon, who lives on the ranch with his 2 sons, reported no predators or bird had touched the cow. There were no tracks and no blood surrounding it. The cow's left cheek, tongue, and 3 of its udders had been cut away cleanly. But the eyes, usually the first body part to be scavenged after death, were untouched. There were no bullet holes, and a scan of the cow by a metal detector turned up none. Crook County Detective Javier Sanchez arrived to find a deceased black cow lying on its side. Hair had been removed near the stomach. All 4 udders were cut off and its left cheek, tongue, and sex organs removed. Between the front legs, an uneven patch of hair was missing, and in the middle was a prick mark, Sanchez wrote in his report. An animal-derived blood substitute has been approved for use in humans in South Africa. Hemopure, an oxygen-carrying compound derived from bovine, that would mean cattle. So we know that bovine blood can be used in transfusions, okay? It can be substituted for human blood. U.S. approves test of blood substitute from cattle. There's another shot. Transfusion, the relation of human and cattle blood groups. Where am I going with all this? This ties in with wrong number 6. Women are taken. They find themselves pregnant. They go to their OBGYN. Yes, you're pregnant. They see the fetus. Sometimes they detect a heartbeat. Okay? It's really unbelievable when you think about it. Then, in the third month, at the end of the first trimester, in the third month, the woman is taken again. Sometimes she remembers it. Most times she doesn't remember. The fetus, the baby, is removed from her. Next morning she wakes up. There's no blood, but she knows something is wrong. She goes back to her OBGYN. No trace of the baby. Maybe we made a mistake. The woman knows there was no mistake. The OBGYN, if he's honest, knows there was no mistake. Something happened. The child is taken. The blood from the cows are used to bring this hybrid entity, this modern day Nephilim, into fruition. People who have been taken, abducted, report seeing rows and rows and rows of glass, some kind of jar, with the child, different stages of development, the fetus, the baby, growing in those jars. That bovine blood, in my opinion, is used to create an artificial womb. That's conjecture on my part, but it all fits. Hybrids are walking amongst us. This is the coming great deception. Make no mistake about it. They, the powers that be, are revealing this step by step, or to use the analogy we've been using in this program, rung by rung by rung. We are now at the 7th rung of the disclosure ladder. How much further up will we go before full disclosure? I don't really know. Tucker says this, we deserve answers. He's right, we do deserve answers. This is from rung number 6, brain damage and burns from UFO encounters. We know that. I've been talking about this. I have warned against this for decades. Warned, talked about the coming great deception and the Luciferian endgame. We have a free film. If you go down to the text box right below here, open up the text box, scroll down, you will see the link to the video, UFO Disclosure. Watch it. Watch it. If you haven't seen it, you need to sit down and watch it. Carve out the time. Part 2 is coming up. It's the rough title for that is UFO Disclosure number 2, the expert witnesses, the expert researchers weigh in. The expert researchers weigh in. It'll be Francisco Carrera, head of exopolitics in Portugal, and Preston Dennett. And of course, I weigh in throughout the film. It's extremely informative. Thanks so much for watching On the Trail of a Nephilim. This show is across all of our YouTube, Rumble, Bitchute, Roku. It's that important. You need to be informed, and that's what we do here. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, we'll see you on the air or in the air.
Matthews, I've seen a UFO.
I've seen a UFO.
And I saw a UFO.
A UFO.